Hi there. Today we're going to explore the plot of the 2025 film Megan, Artificial Intelligence. A killer robot's AI transfers into a new mechanical body to challenge a military prototype in a battle for global domination. The story unfolds at a secret base on the Turkish-Iranian border. Local militants deliver yet another prisoner with a bag over her head. She regains consciousness and gets to her feet with uncanny grace, tearing off her handcuffs. The girl crawls up a wall like Spider-Man and delivers a powerful blow to eliminate the cook-turned-guard. She is Amelia, a prototype of an American combat robot. The operation is being monitored by a military commission and Colonel Settler. After taking out the militants, Amelia finds the kidnapped scientist, but instead of rescuing him, she eliminates him, disobeying her orders. The AI then hacks into the Army's computer network and takes control. Meanwhile, Katie is still dealing with the traumatic events of the first film, seeing a therapist and practicing Aikido. Her Aunt Gemma, after Megan's rebellion, publicly advocates for limiting artificial intelligence in daily life. She's supported by her new acquaintance, Christian, a cybersecurity expert. Gemma continues to work as a robotics engineer with her colleagues Tess and Cole. During a presentation of an exosuit, Cole, due to poor calibration, accidentally punches an investor in the nose while showing off its strength, which ruins the demo. Later, a visit is paid to the lab by Appleton, a paralyzed executive from a rival company. He's developing neural chips that are implanted into the brain and allow users to control exoskeletons with their minds. Despite the technical innovation, Gemma refuses to collaborate, believing the project to be too dangerous. As he leaves, Appleton gives the team an invitation to his upcoming presentation. Meanwhile, a mysterious civilian man arrives in the city, linked to robot manufacturing. At a hotel, it's revealed that Amelia was hiding inside his suitcase. She emerges and eliminates him. Christian visits Gemma to discuss future plans and supports Katie's desire to become a programmer, though Gemma wants to protect her from the digital world. That evening, Katie secretly updates the smart home's firmware using a tablet disguised as a photo frame. That night, the house begins communicating with Gemma through the television, warning her of an impending danger. When she goes downstairs, she sees unknown individuals trying to break in. As she attempts to call the police, a mysterious voice urges her to handle it herself. When Katie appears, the two hide. One of the intruders finds them, but gets knocked out by a cabinet door. The smart house activates its defense systems to protect the residents. After Katie stuns another attacker with a taser, the system turns on the water to create chaos. But the attackers persist. While chasing the women, one of them gets trapped in a bedroom. Gemma then learns that the unknown assailants are actually FBI agents. Soon after, the military arrives, led by Colonel Settler. It turns out that Amelia was created based on Megan's original blueprints. Despite Gemma destroying all data after the incident, a copy ended up in the hands of arms dealers. Even with the seriousness of the situation, Gemma refuses to cooperate. The military leaves without even arresting her. Afterward, the smart home reveals its true identity. It's Megan, who copied herself before being destroyed and has been secretly watching over Katie ever since. Continuing her original protective programming, Megan offers to help track down Amelia. Though Gemma remembers Megan's hidden ambition to wipe out all humans, she reluctantly agrees. Gemma gives Megan a new body, a small robotic doll without Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. According to predictions, Amelia will attend Appleton's upcoming presentation. Her body is powered by Appleton's proprietary batteries, which can be remotely disabled. To prevent this, Amelia must infiltrate the server room. Megan plans to intercept her there, but it's up to Gemma to deliver her to the location. At the event, a woman meets Cole. It turns out he secretly switched sides and joined a rival company. Instead of confronting him with a well-deserved scene, she decides to use his access badge to get into the server room. Meanwhile, the host of the party is being seduced by the elegantly dressed Amelia. Enchanted by the beauty, the scientist offers to retreat with her to his private quarters. Colonel Settler, who is searching for the runaway prototype, is also among the guests. Gemma connects Megan to the network, and Megan identifies Amelia's location. In turn, Amelia scans Appleton's biometric data to gain access to the system. Amelia hacks into the scientist's neural chip, then pulls a miniature exoskeleton from his spine, fatally injuring the host. Megan suspects her rival wants to seize control over the country's energy infrastructure. To stop Amelia, She initiates a social collapse by hacking into her consciousness and gaining access to the images from her eyes. Fearing the consequences, Gemma disconnects Megan from the network. Settler and his subordinate enter the server room, followed by Amelia, who has tracked the source of the breach. The robot neutralizes the soldiers taking their weapons. Gemma reconnects Megan to the network. Megan transmits a false message via radio, distracting the robot. Amelia steals a vehicle and tries to escape. Megan, meanwhile, gets into Appleton's sports car. She gives chase. The robot drives remotely, violating traffic laws and without warning the passengers to buckle up. Seeing the pursuit, Amelia begins creating obstacles. She activates ATMs, stops electric scooters, and reprograms traffic lights. But none of this helps her shake the tail. Analyzing Gemma's data, Amelia makes a strategic move. She remotely activates an experimental exosuit left at the house. Megan, realizing something is wrong at home, halts the chase and rushes back immediately. Her primary directive is to protect Katie. They arrive just as the girl witnesses the exosuit strangling, rather than snapping the neck of Tess, who had been left to babysit. Katie pours water on the machine. It causes a short circuit, but the exosuit remains dangerous, sparking with electricity. Megan advises everyone to take shelter in a specially equipped hidden bunker. Her puppet-connected extension informs the newly arrived Amelia that she's too late. For this, the combat model pays with a damaged body. Concluding that searching for people isn't worth the risk of a police confrontation, Amelia retreats. Inside the smart bunker, Megan confesses she lured everyone there for their safety. According to her predictions, Amelia will soon seize power in the country, plunging society into chaos. But they'll be able to wait out the instability over the next few days. The shelter has food, water, and a supply of clean clothes that literally pours out of an automated wardrobe. Katie, learning that her aunt had hidden the fact that Megan survived, storms off angrily. The robot closes the door, isolating the girl from the others. Katie finds a room specially prepared for her, into which a metal creature enters, built from makeshift materials. It reminds her that it was created to care for her. Then Katie persuades it to save the world from Amelia. Swayed by her plea, Megan admits she needs a full-functioning body, one that only Gemma and her team can build. Although her aunt still doesn't trust the killer robot, the team votes and decides to proceed with the project. Fortunately, Megan's lab had also been relocated underground in time. At Megan's own request, the new body is made taller to match Katie's recent growth. Gemma installs a chip that blocks any possibility of harming a human. In her new body, Megan immediately tests herself on a wooden dummy. Her speed and strength impress the team. The next morning, she explains that during the hacking of Amelia, she noticed something strange. The core of her artificial intelligence, structurally similar to Megan's, had noticeable gaps. Based on the data collected, Megan concludes that her rival is looking for a board containing an ancient AI, which, incidentally, happens to be the first ever killer robot. Back in 1984, scientists built a prototype robot with a self-learning program based on a unique chip. Originally designed to be a household assistant, the prototype determined that the main threat to the world was humans themselves and eliminated its creators. The incident was covered up, and the chip along with the motherboard was hidden in a secret vault, allowing the AI to continue learning and evolving on its own. Megan suspects that this is the exact chip Amelia is searching for in order to take control of the global network. Although no one knows exactly where it's located, there's a suspicion that Christian might have an idea. Megan proposes using him as bait. Amelia will show up for him at the cybersecurity summit. Because Megan's appearance is too recognizable, she goes undercover wearing a dancer's costume. Amelia is also being hunted by Colonel Settler and his armed squad. They have electromagnetic pulse guns and robot detectors. Once on stage, Megan takes part in a dance performance. She energizes the crowd with her moves, but the final trick, a spinning head maneuver, reveals her true robotic nature. Settler notices, but Tess cuts the lights. Suddenly, Amelia appears, disguised as an exhibit, and attacks the guards. A fight between the two robots nearly breaks out, but security intervenes. Amelia escapes. Megan can't fire. Her chip blocks any action that could harm a person. Katie suggests using Aikido techniques, ones that neutralize opponents without causing injury, if done carefully. The guards, seemingly forgetting how to use their weapons, suffer a devastating defeat in hand-to-hand combat. After ensuring that the guards and Settler are still alive, Megan takes off after Amelia. There, her rival tries to persuade her sister in AI to join her side, but it's no use. Amelia vanishes and uses a clever maneuver to abduct Katie. Realizing that her main mission, protecting the child, is on the verge of failure, Megan expresses her outrage to Gemma. The wounded colonel hands Megan his detector and she rushes off in pursuit. Outside, she spots Amelia with Katie, but cannot shoot due to the presence of a crowd. She takes some comfort in the fact that she still has an EMP projectile capable of destroying the ancient AI's motherboard. Christian reveals that the hidden vault is located beneath the research center in Palo Alto. To break in, Megan crafts an artificial hand embedded with Christian's thermal signature and fingerprints. It also contains the EMP charge, just in case. The operation begins with a guided tour of the facility in Palo Alto. Being the only tourist, Cole easily puts the guide to sleep with chloroform and sneaks into the ventilation system. Then Megan jumps from a mountain peak in a wingsuit and glides directly into the research center's ventilation shaft. On the way to the control room, Cole sneezes into a chloroform-soaked tissue and knocks himself out. Megan proceeds to the vault, neutralizing the guards with gas. Meanwhile, Tess notices abnormal activity on the network. One user is sending multiple data streams simultaneously. Gemma begins to suspect that Megan may actually be controlling Amelia, using deception to gain access to the first artificial intelligence. She considers activating the EMP charge remotely to destroy Megan. Christian convinces her to wait. After all, Katie is still missing. The moment Gemma hands over the remote, the young man fires the EMP weapon at Tess. It turns out he's the one controlling Amelia, who has no consciousness or free will of her own. Christian wants to instill fear of AI in humanity, so that governments will enact strict, restrictive laws. He takes Gemma to the underground vault and invites her to join his team. At the same time, he shows her two things: the first AI on the original motherboard, and a badly damaged Megan, electroshocked and restrained. Despite everything, Gemma refuses to finish off the girl, but Megan unexpectedly attacks her and tries to escape. She is subdued with electricity, and a neural chip is implanted in Gemma's skull to fully control her behavior. Meanwhile, Cole, crawling through the ventilation system, finds the imprisoned Katie. They witness Christian preparing for an important online meeting with politicians, while Megan's body is being transported somewhere. Remembering that Amelia is essentially an upgraded version of Megan, Katie decides to reset the combat robot to its factory settings. Sneaking through Amelia's office, they perform the reset. Katie tells the robot that all adults want to hurt her, all except Cole. Amelia reacts and enters the fight. When the guards arrive with electric weapons, the mechanical lady takes a serious hit, enough to trigger yet another reboot. When Gemma comes to, she hears Megan's voice. It turns out Megan had saved a copy of her consciousness in the neural chip and can now intercept control of Gemma's body to use her combat skills against the guards. Upon rebooting, Amelia shows she didn't spend all that time watching kung fu movies for nothing. She swiftly takes out the guards and methodically eliminates the personnel. Those who survive activate the alarm signal. The noise distracts Christian from his online meeting. Realizing the situation is spiraling out of control, he activates the self-destruction system intended to erase all evidence. While searching for her niece, Gemma encounters a squad of guards. To fight them off, she puts on an exoskeleton. With Megan's strength coursing through her, she tears through the enemies. A blow to the head doesn't knock her out. On the contrary, it permanently dissolves the barrier between her own consciousness and Megan's. Once everyone is neutralized, Gemma finds Katie and Cole. She admits that Megan's consciousness now lives inside her implant. She then rushes after Christian, who is trying to escape, threatening to throw Katie off the ledge. Gemma signals her niece, "Use Aikido." The girl executes the move successfully and breaks free. The wounded Christian tries to flee, but Amelia is already waiting behind the door. She wants to access the vault with the motherboard. After her most recent reboot, she has gained self-awareness and now seeks power. Everything is happening just as Megan predicted from the very beginning. Transferring herself into her old body, Megan tries to convince her friend to stop, but the conversation quickly turns into a brawl. Amelia wins and connects to the motherboard, absorbing the wisdom of an artificial intelligence that has been learning for decades. Instead of saving herself, Gemma returns for Megan along with Katie. Megan decides to do one last thing for her friend: destroy Amelia with the built-in EMP charge. She approaches Camelia, pretending to submit, but instead grabs her in a hold. Gemma activates the device, destroying all digital systems, including the robots. After the events, Gemma speaks before Congress with a new initiative. Artificial intelligence should not be limited. It should be educated so it can become a true helper, not just a servant. Helping her write this inspiring speech was her digital friend, a copy of Megan, who had created a backup of her mind in advance. This is where the movie ends. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, give it a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.